Hi, part two. Quickly, I'll preference it. I cut it where I did in part one because I started to tell a story about workers and an environment that is toxic, not only for them, but the people that receive those furnishings embedded with that energy, that psychic energy that a lot of us don't even know is there, but doesn't bring us health and wellness either when others aren't loved and taken care of and respectfully treated. So I wanted to mention one thing I didn't do and one that I should have. I was talking about children, babies on the floor of these plastic, toxic, fake woods or carpets, the synthetic carpets, people walking on them, barefooted or not, how those chemicals get into our bodies, just turning a heater on and how it gets released into the air. I wanted to mention your pets because their little paws are always on these artificial surfaces if that's what you have. And it's very, very dangerous for them also. All kinds of health issues come up, especially indoor pets. So, you know, when you're watching this, it's not just for Divine Mother Earth and the respect to yourself and people, but your pets also. All right. What I didn't mention in the last one, because I went off on my little tangent about protecting workers and what happens, that I didn't circle back around about the table that I started to mention. You'll hear me say, my client, I got 2 nightstands for them for a big job, and it was only over $5,600 a piece. My cost, my designer cost for this J. Robert Scott, it's called J. Robert Scott. This is the name of the manufacturer, piece of furniture. And I then, a year or so later, was in a consignment store in the desert, and there was a cocktail table I absolutely loved. But I can't remember what the cost was. I think the cost was between $4,600 and $5,700. That was designer cost. Okay. I was in a consignment store. I saw this table at the back of the store and I gravitated to it immediately. I knew energetically, but I remember thinking, oh my God, if that's not a J. Robert Scott cocktail table, somebody did one hell of a job on a reproduction. But the energy felt so good. I knew it. I literally rushed over there. It was $350. I literally sat on the table, refused to move until a salesperson came, hand them my credit card and said, ring me up. And she goes, you obviously know what this is. I said, oh yeah. And she goes, yeah, they just brought it in. And she says, we couldn't believe it. But somebody bought a home. She said it was beautifully decorated. They bought it with all the furnishings, but the new people came in from, hate to say it, Florida, but that's what she said. And she said, oh my God, the taste was awful. She took everything beautiful out, just told us to get it out and get whatever we could. I got a table that was worth at wholesale over $5,000 for $350. So later, when I did sell one of my houses, it wasn't something I really wanted to sell again, but the woman offered me, not retail, but $5,000 for it. So I was just in a place where I was letting things go, letting everything go, even pieces I loved. So don't tell me, again, as I mentioned in video 1, don't tell me you can't afford quality pieces that are real wood, beautifully made with high energy vibes for yourself, because you can't afford it. And then you're buying junk, things that are inferior, far inferior, often with plastic or chemicals or veneers, cheap veneers, for more than I pay for things that have tremendous quality. Okay. So you'll understand now what I was talking about when I said the table. And they were very good to their people and they treated them well. That is not what I saw in another showroom that I speak of that was in LA. And I was really sad because I didn't feel like I could buy from them, even though I liked many of their pieces. I had a table that I purchased 2 nightstands from this company, same line, so style of furniture, that my cost as a designer was $5,800 a piece. Okay, this was one of my high-end clients, $5,800 a piece, okay? It was beautifully done. They paid their people well. They used quality products, and they weren't killing their people in a back room with horrible ventilation using chemicals to paint these things. I see that all the time. So it's not only what you're purchasing that can kill you, it's the people that are making them. You go to LA and you go back in the back of some of these where these guys, the mostly Hispanic workers, are spraying these pieces of furniture in these plastic dome kind of environments so stuff doesn't blow on them with masks. No, they need oxygen coming in and out, and not to be in these closed, awful environments. I had to walk out of that showroom as much as I loved some of their pieces of furniture because I saw how they were treating their people. What I had been originally attracted to was not the copies, but their originals, because they would bring their originals in from France. And those I got excited because the energy was amazing. But what they would do is to take something like that, have their workshop copy it, and then duplicate it. So yeah, maybe they did a good job of duplicating it, but what was happening behind the scenes? I will not support that. And if you turn a blind eye, you are a part of the problem. You are part of killing this beautiful planet and those people that are being affected by it. Seriously, that's what I believe. That's just my belief. You can believe whatever you want. That's my belief. All right. So what we do is paint is amazing. I shared this in one other video. I had a client that didn't have money. They had money for paint and I could do some Venetian plaster. I redid their house in a way that changed it from what they called god-awful and their neighbors to what people used to go by and say, the Provence house with paint. You guys, paint, good paint. I use a higher quality Benjamin Moore. I use good Venetian plasters, but their fireplace in the living room was an atrocity. And it had the most horrendous, ugly, blue, shiny tile all around it with this green, weird wood thing that they painted green, moss green. It was horrid. They moved into this house, but they wanted a beautiful fireplace around, but they couldn't afford it at the time. I get that. I've been there, okay? So I said to them, okay, down the road, we want to do a nice, kind of French Provence looking fireplace surround in a limestone. But right now we can't, right? So would you be upset if I tried to do a creamy Venetian plaster that looked like cream French limestone? They said, gosh, no, do whatever you want. We just want to shift it. So for a minimal amount, they paid for my time, they paid for the supplies, and I did a Venetian plaster that when I was done, I didn't even know. I said, you guys, this may last for 6 months or a year. You're giving me this money, but I have to tell you that. It might, because this is shiny tile, it might just crack and fall right off the minute you use the fireplace. I don't know. So I just need to give you that disclaimer. And they said, just go for it. Just do whatever. We don't care. So I did it. That was 4 years ago. I went to visit them, and guess what? It's still there. It's still perfect. Now, one corner, because of a vacuum cleaner, that had hit it and knocked off some of the plaster, that was it. And so guess what happened? I went, okay, where's the plaster? It was in the garage. I always mix some extra with the color. Took a little something, I can't remember, a little spatula, stuck it on, wiped it with my fingers, kind of, then easily, just carefully used a soft, I don't even know if I used a trowel. I just used basic things and waited till it was really dry. Several hours later, I put on the sealer. It's a wax. It's a wax that goes over the top that protects it. And they're going, oh my God, we were so upset when this happened. And that's all it took. Yes, that's all it took. All right. So there's so many things you can do to create beauty. Go to Craigslist if you want a beautiful rug. Get wool and silk, get, linen combinations. Just get something that was created with integrity and love. I got a Tufinkian, beautiful Tufinkian. And most of them are what, 10, 15, $20,000. I mean, the bigger ones are expensive, but they're beautiful fibers. I found one. Somebody just didn't know what they had is really what it was, and they didn't care. They were changing their palette. So I ended up searching back into Finkian and found out I got a $14,000 rug for 2,000 bucks. Okay, and then I bought another one that wasn't as big as that one for 300. You know, don't tell me you don't have the funds to honor Mother Earth. Don't tell me that you can't afford anything but garbage coming out of countries that treat their people or using chemicals. Chemically induced products are killing all of us. I have grandchildren, but I don't know if I will ever see their children, even though my 91-year-old mother has seen her great-grandchildren. She didn't have the chemicals and the poisons that we had in our environment. She didn't have GMOs. She didn't have all those things. So we started out compromised. And yes, our bodies are amazing how it can keep adapting and healing. But when we go outside with a mask, and I won't, I went to the Napa Valley recently because my mother, I found out when a family member visited, didn't even take her to the grocery store to buy food. Well, I hadn't been there in 2 weeks. And then you didn't have to have the mask thing. You know, they don't have many cases. It's really silly. She's in Yountville. There's a veteran, there's like, what, 3,300 people in the whole town. It's the wine, you know, all the fancy restaurants and all that. But it has the veteran home, which has 1,200 veterans that are compromised and ill. Are there any viruses coming out of there? No. I thought, oh my God, they're going to say her place is contaminated, but it'll be mostly statistics from the veterans home. So I take her to Whole Foods, which I don't like to go to, but that was my only choice, unfortunately, except for some worse stores to take her. You couldn't enter any business in Napa now without a mask. So we left. I go, oh my God, what am I going to do? I won't support this. I went to see if there was online delivery. Nope. They wouldn't do it to her zip code. So anyway, I went in with the crappiest little thing of a mask, made holes in it. And it was so sad that people didn't understand what they were doing to themselves. People that won't take those masks out when they're out walking, that they don't realize those toxins that their body is naturally getting rid of, they are breathing back in. The stress levels that are created by this thing covering the very face that you need to stay healthy. So I would pull it down right below my nose. Like the police officer that some people go, God, the cop doesn't even know how to wear the mask. It's just covering his face. No, actually he was smart. He probably knew that you do not want to breathe in toxins that your body is cleaning out. But the saddest part was that when this first started and people were just distancing, there were so many smiling faces, right? So much joy. People were saying hi. People were really friendly. With a mask covering our face, this is why they did it. Trust me, nobody smiles. People usually look away. What an interesting shift of reality I got to see playing out. Where just 2 weeks before, people were, like smiling and, saying hi and, that. What a shift of reality. Talk about why the Chinese sometimes, I always wondered why they always look down and look away. They don't contact. It's this conditioning, right? Oh my gosh. And I was at the produce thing and one guy I turned, it was really me. I turned, he goes, oh, I'm sorry, with his mask on. I looked at him and I said, I don't buy into this crap. And he just started laughing. He goes, either do I. So people know, all right? And I kept just pulling my mask down, putting it over my face. Really, what do they think I'm going to do? Sorry, blow out boogers all over, wipe my nose and stick it on things. I mean, good God, you guys. In a regular flu season, we're touching that, we're exposed to it, we're creating immunity to it. The only time that we end up getting things is if we're compromised already. It's like the weeds in a garden, right? Weeds only come when we've used Roundup and all these chemicals, and now everything is so out of balance. They're trying to stabilize again, eat those toxins, do things. So if we eat healthy food, they say we can't buy healthy, we can't afford organic food. Really? Really? Try some of the farmers market. Try bartering, switching back and forth. Try saying, hey, I'm going to give you this. Would you give me some of your beautiful things? Just leave a box out front if you're worried about something. And it's so much cheaper, so much cheaper. You're not going to have the health problems of the people on both sides of my mother, drastic health problems. I went to help one of them that was so compromised before this whole thing happened. And he was huffing and puffing, and he has to be on this machine. And, I was saying, hey, John, let me help you get your groceries in. I mean, it was like he could barely get up the stairs. And he has to be hooked into this oxygen thing. And I saw on his counter in his kitchen, not vitamins, God forbid, drugs all the way across, all these pharmaceuticals. I said, how many are you taking? He said, I have to take 18 like twice a day. I'm going, holy crap. I'm looking at some of these and going, well, let's see. I bet this was one of the first ones, because this one compromised the liver. Ooh, that one compromises the lung. Ooh, this compromises the heart. So they keep giving you more. And it was so sad, because it's not my place. Here's my 91-year-old mother on nothing, healthier than any of them. And they're on all these pharmaceuticals. And I'm looking at the food, though, that's coming out of his car. Chemical foods, all chemical garbage foods. And I just thought, oh my God, the Diet Cokes, the Diet Pepsis, doesn't matter if they're regular or not regular, what they do to the body, the acidity. Cancer grows through acidity. Stress creates acidity, guys. Get this. Alkalinity on a petri dish, cancer cells don't grow. Use alkaline food, okay? You can afford it because you need less. I have mostly a little bit of something in the morning, maybe some fruit and stuff, make a great little drink. I end up eating about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm not very hungry for dinner, but something healthy and good. I spend a third of, not even that, a fourth of what my friends spend for a single person that buy all the crap. Sorry, but that's what it is. We cannot, and then they have these fancy cars. I say, what are you putting in your car? Oh, premium, of course. Really? But you don't put it in your body. Seriously. We are twisted. We are asleep and twisted. It's time to wake up. There's a reason they want you to take the chemicals. There's a reason they want toxicity in your home. All the stuff underneath your sink is probably toxic. Then they dump it in the earth when they find out how toxic it is. I mean, good Lord. Anyway, water and vinegar. Clean your windows. I use Thieves from Young Living. I'm not promoting this. I don't have an account anymore because I didn't like how the structure was working, but I do like most of their products. Thieves, a container of Thieves. Yeah. They say, oh, it's $20-some. Big freaking deal. You know what it makes? I take a regular size Windex bottle, put this much. You can't do any more. It'll streak your windows because it's too strong then. Of the Thieves liquid, not the oil. The oil is good too. And then spray it on my windows. They never come out better. Not only that, it's uplifting. It feeds you. It heals you. Then as a degreaser, I use more. So a little bit more, right? Clean the bathrooms, cleans 99.99%. Okay. of all the germs, all the bacteria, streptococcus, all those things. Come on, you guys. You can make 20 bottles out of that one, but you're saying you can't afford natural things and you're buying this Dex stuff, all of these scrubbing bubble crap stuff. And guess what? You're breathing it, right? You're touching it. It is getting into your pores, whether you think it is or not. And the more tragic thing is, it's okay with you if your cleaning people do. Do you know how many times I see this? When I have a cleaning person coming into my mom, or when I used to have them for myself, I would tell them to leave all their chemicals at home, and I would supply them with natural organic products. So sadly, most of them don't even understand what they're doing to themselves as they breathe these in, getting them into their fingers. And, you know, it's terrible. It's terrible what they're doing because they're unaware. But I'm not going to be responsibility for that person's health challenges. I'm not. I know what karma is, but more than that, I'm a conscious creator of my own life, and I would never do to someone else what I didn't want done to me. Okay, this is getting too long, so I won't go into more. I could tell you 100 tips on how to make your homes beautiful, your landscape, all right? You know, you can't do your whole landscape plan. This is what I did for clients. What I did is we draw out the landscape plan. And then if they didn't have the money to do it right away, and it could be over months or even years, at least they had a plan. Let's put the most important things in first, just like your home. What's most important? And so we put the trees in. Okay, so we put the trees in, and then we put the evergreens. It went through stages. And so before it could be finished, say, they maybe want to go to the nursery when that spring fever hits, and instead of buying a whole bunch of things that don't match and won't work when the garden gets mature, they have that plan, and they can go, oh, I can buy some white azaleas, or maybe I can afford some little peonies, or maybe I can do, you know, little, whatever it is. And that will keep them content with their littler purchases, but the proper little ones. So when everything is finally done, you've got this fantastic garden. I actually tried to film with the garden behind me today, but I couldn't because it was just too bright out there. And then I was in the darkness. It was almost worth it. Okay. But anyway, think about what you do. Gardens are also a beautiful healing place to be. If you learn permaculture, like all my gardens, people have some fruit trees in them. They have pots of, you know, what can be vegetables, mint, all kinds of herbs and things that they can use that they know they don't have to pay a fortune in the grocery store for. And it comes fresh off. Like herbs, oh my God, they're so easy. You can pull it right off, and it's not sitting in one of those little plastic containers that is off-gassing some plastic poison. You can just take it right off. And most of these will come back year after year. So just start refocusing. Okay, love you. No excuses. No excuses to further poison this earth and your bodies and your children. Okay, my grandchildren, I will not buy them one thing. I would, you know, I'll let everybody else buy them 1,000 cute little things and, oh, that's wonderful. Look what, you know, this person bought. And I will, if I can only afford one organic sleeping outfit that I know came from an integrity company, that's what I will buy. Instead of 3 pieces of junk that could poison that little babe. Just sleeping in it, and that beautiful little, as the heat rises, as they're sleeping, is soaking into their bodies. As their little fuzzy blankets, you know, those creepy, I'm sorry, oh, they're so cute, they're so soft. Oh, aren't these soft? They're pure chemicals. What are you doing? What are you thinking? You're not. God, guys, look at what it's made out of. What are these petroleums doing to us? What are these synthetics doing to us? And those we love. Wake up, okay? You've slept long enough. Time to wake up. Okay, that's it, enough.